Hey everybody, welcome to
Hello.
Britpops React. You're me, BP1 and BP2, and we're back for some more US info. Back with Lawrence from Lost in the Pond.
I think we should at least, we should at least applaud Lawrence for all the content that he does, which we sort of sneakily borrow to add our thoughts and comments to.
Yeah, he's the Brit that's gone out there, and he can see the differences, which is great. And then we can react to those differences because we don't really know what they are. So he's like the researcher, isn't he? And he's sharing it with everybody. That's all I. He's
our advanced party. If we like it enough, we might go over there ourselves. Dip our toes in. That's it.
10 things America has that Britain doesn't, apparently.
Right.
So we'll see if that is what he says.
Okay.
It'd be interesting to say.
For real now, Lawrence, no messing about, because you told us that about your fridge.
Yeah, your fridge was smaller than ours, so that was a funny
Christmas
one, that
tree.
old fridge one.
Well, that Christmas tree there.
That isn't a Christmas tree. I don't know what that is, but it isn't a Christmas tree.
That's a Christmas twig.
Christmas twig. Anyway, all good fun and humour, remember?
Go on then.
All right, let's crack into it.
And I'm on a quest to uncover all of the memos that Britain and America lost in the pond, and one of those memos pertains to stuff, things that one country might have that the other does not have. And today I'm going to specifically look at 10 things that America has that Britain doesn't. And 10 is the number of the day. Not only is it the number attached to this very listicle, but it's also tied to the fact that I've lived in the United States for the entirety of this decade that we are now reaching the very end of. And the fact that I haven't lived in Britain for a decade does mean I run the risk of including things on this list that have since been adopted by Britain, and I was just away and missed it.
Okay,
so I think I was careful enough to do the requisite research before doing this video.
In case
so for
anything
instance,
comes
10
out.
years ago, I think I might have included, Mexican food or proms or Black Friday or vaping shops. But I've come to find through both my own experiences of visiting earlier this year and also just from second-hand accounts that these things have actually exploded in Britain. Not exploded. I mean, in some cases they have a presence. And so those things are not included, but I will admit that some of the things on my list do have an isolated presence in the United Kingdom. They're just not used or seen or, experienced on a grand scale like they are here in the United States. And so without further ado, let's take a look at 10 things that America
Somebody
has
needs to
that
send
Britain
him a new Christmas tree,
not.
though. To be fair.
Yes,
wooden houses.
So growing up, I watched a lot of American films.
True.
The Goonies, for example, that depicted these wooden houses, and they always seemed really sort of romantic to me. I don't know why. We don't really have them in Britain, or at least we don't have them en masse, shall we say. Most houses that you'll find in Britain are made of brick, rock solid, right? But the structural integrity of these American houses, these wooden houses, I am led to believe, is still good. It's nothing to worry about. And you might be wondering, well, why does America have so many of these wooden houses?
I do wonder that.
Firstly, they're
why?
Cheaper than brick houses by quite a way. And also,
Quicker
there's quite a lot of wood just in the United States. You almost can't see the wood for the trees. That's not how that phrase works. And so they've been a mainstay of American housing since the 19th century. Now, that's not to say that, of course, America doesn't itself have brick houses.
I want to pause it because, wooden houses. And growing up, watching all the films in America, they're all wooden. And they look amazing, don't they? They look so nice, so big. And yet over here, we are brick. I'm in a brick house. You're in a brick house. You can't. There is no wooden houses, really, unless they're like converted barns or they're converted from something else years ago. But for me, it would make sense to have wooden houses in the UK because with the climate, we don't get tornadoes, we don't get hurricanes, we don't get earthquakes, we don't get anything that is likely, it's like your three little pigs, to blow your house down, is it? Do you know what I mean?
No. I mean, you'll find that most houses over here now are wood framed, so they'll go up as a wooden frame.
Yeah, they'll have a frame, but the bricks around them, off your roof.
Yep, your roof will still be wood framed, but back in the day, everything, all the walls would have been completely brick and mortar. Now, like I said, they'll whack the frame up. All your internal walls are all plasterlath. You can't hang a shelf for love nor money now. Whereas, back in the day, you could you could be guaranteed a nice solid wall to put your shelf on. So I mean, and Yeah, I mean, we sort of see that the house is getting blown down, and you think, well, maybe they should use something else. But I guess
I know. If I was in like Tornado Alley or something, I'd be like, I want a brick house, thank you. I don't want this thing that could be flat.
Get knocked down.
I probably would, but at least you stand more of a chance.
Quicker to put back up again. All right.
Maybe,
okay.
Yeah, maybe. Good point. All right, let's keep going.
In fact, I kind of live in one myself. New York and Chicago, it's known for its brownstone apartments, but also you'll see brickery here and there. But I think for the most part, people here do live in houses that have a wooden exterior. I did when I first moved here, in fact, and I have to say, it was fine. It was perfectly warm, well insulated. The odd spider got in, sometimes very odd spider, but we'll get onto that later. But it was just like any other house, really. I think my concern would have been that it would have collapsed on me, or that rain would get in, or things like that. But no, of course, it's very. These houses are sturdy, as far as I can tell, and they're good. Now, whether the house is made of brick, wood, or
let us know. What have you got in the comments? Is yours a wooden house? Is it a brick?
Air conditioning. Where would we be without it? Well, for the first 26 years of my life, I was without it.
Yeah, we're without it.
I usually just slept by the window, which was cracked open, and let in that sort of mild British air. That did the job for the most part. In the vast majority of the United States, you cannot do that, especially when the summer hits. In this country, temperatures reach sometimes as high as 40 degrees C or over 100 degrees Fahrenheit. If you don't have air conditioning, you will die, or at the very least feel horrific.
Boiled.
Now, again, in Britain, you will find exceptions to this rule, particularly in public places, but for the vast majority of people, air conditioning is not a thing.
And it's a really good point.
And thankfully,
it's a really good point, because he made this 3 years ago, and funnily enough, all those 3 years since, it's been the hottest years of the UK. In fact, only last year, 2022, actually was announced as the hottest year ever in the UK, and that's the year that I actually bought a portable air conditioning unit, one that you can just put on your bedroom and stick the vent out the window, just because, the dog and everything, we were on like 35 degrees C. It was hot. It was really, really uncomfortable, and thank God for that. Really, I'm glad we did it, and I advise you to do it this year. They're only like, I don't know,
that's the
£300
thing.
or £400.
They're affordable now. It doesn't have to be something that's plumbed in by an aircon specialist and so on and so forth. Going back, prior to that. Yeah, you may have had 2 or 3 weeks in the summer that were hot, and then the rest of them were, you'd be putting your extra blanket on and your cozy thick socks when you go into bed. So there was no reason for us to have aircon, because the climate is pretty changeable. I mean, look out the window now; it's chucking it down with rain, and
well, those attic rooms.
Yes,
I don't know if you have them in the US. Like, imagine up in your attic, right at the top. I had one of those in the UK, and even then, in the winter, it was so cold, I sort of used to go to bed with a woolly hat on. And then in the summer, it was so hot that you'd be like, just dripping, it was horrible. All right, he makes a good point on wooden houses at aircon, for sure.
Neither is the following. According to the internet, and we all believe that, right? There's never been a recorded case in Britain of somebody dying from a spider bite. That is not true, of course, in the United States. There are deadly spiders here, and when I first moved here, that was something that I was quite wary of. I'm not really scared of spiders, but when something like that is alien to you, and you move to one of the places where they are housed, it starts to play on your mind. And I get the impression this is true for quite a lot of British people. So I want to dispel some myths by uttering the following sentence. I, Lawrence Brown, have never seen a deadly spider outside of Indianapolis Zoo. It was supposed to be there. It was part of the attraction.
Obviously,
And that's because they're quite rare. Okay, so the two spiders that you've really got to be wary of, but not that wary of, are black widows and brown recluses. I lived in Indianapolis. Brown recluses there are in fact indigenous to Indianapolis and some other surrounding states and the South. But here's a few things that you need to know about brown recluses. Firstly, they're recluses. You'll rarely ever see them. Again, I haven't. Secondly, they're not particularly vicious. They're not actually aggressive spiders. They're really only going to attack you if you prod them. And if you do that, then you deserve to be bitten. And as for black widows, you're probably never going to see one. But if you do, make sure it's not female. The female of the species is more deadly than the male. Because they're
not
bad at singing.
Yeah,
you've
nice.
seen a deadly
That
spider
was a
for
tune.
years, then you'll be fine, right? That's not how you're going to die.
We've had some false
You're going to die
widows.
of heart disease.
Yep.
I mean, that's statistically likely. So, Merry Christmas. But speaking of things that are deadly, here's something else Britain doesn't have.
All right.
What's that?
Now,
That
again, I
is
do
true.
want to reiterate that tornadoes absolutely exist in Britain, but there have been no recorded cases of fatalities.
No.
Okay.
I do
Okay,
remember the
91.
shave in Birmingham in the 2000s. They're usually really weak. I remember one turning up at the beach where I lived near, and the extent of the damage was a fallen deck chair. We don't have anything to worry about in Britain when it comes to tornadoes, but in America, of course, that ain't true. Now, again, when it comes to America, heart disease is the thing that you most need to be worried about. You're not very likely to die of a...
We did have 2 last year, tornadoes. We had one that stripped through Sparsholt in the south of England.
Yep.
It took out quite a bit, actually. It wasn't...
2 deck chairs.
No. We're talking
No,
it did rip up buildings, like big barns and sheds. It did take out. It wasn't touched down for too long. But we get sort of water spouts on, down in Salisbury and stuff like that, on Salisbury Head and around the Bognor Regis region. The water spouts will come across and then they will come onto land. But again, like Lawrence says, I mean, even from 3 years ago when he done this, we haven't seen a dramatic change in, it causing fatality or anyone to human, but we have seen it starting to cause in the odd occasion.
I mean,
some rough.
Maybe not sort of designated tornadoes, but we do get high winds here. Trees come down, fall on cars, kill people. You get fatalities like that. Obviously, we had the big storm back in that tore through the country back in the 90s.
87.
Good afternoon to you. Earlier on today, apparently a woman rang the BBC and said she heard that there was a hurricane on the way. Well, if you're watching, don't worry, there isn't. But having said that, actually, the weather will become very windy, but most of the strong winds, incidentally, will be down over Spain and across into France as well.
United States, you may well encounter a tornado. But as with deadly spiders, I have to report to you today that in my 11 years of living in the United States, I've yet to encounter a tornado. That doesn't mean that I'm not going to one day, but remember that the United States is very large. So when these tornadoes turn up, they don't affect the whole state that they're showing up in. It's just a very small area of that state at any given time. Yeah. Now, I did once encounter a tornado warning in which the wife and I and the 2 cats that we had at the time had to huddle together in the tiniest bathroom you've ever seen. So it turned out to be a false alarm, and all we got there was bad cramps. So all I'm saying is, don't worry. Come to the United States, move to the United States. Do not be worried about tornadoes. Unless you see one, then run.
Very fast.
What?
1987.
Have desserts?
87.
Outrage! You were reading.
Sorry, let's play on.
I said deserts. Yes, that's right, with the exception of the Dungeness Headland.
Deserts,
in
yes,
Kent.
we don't have deserts.
Britain
That's
does
true.
not boast any deserts, and even that one is debatable. But the United States, specifically the western portion of the United States, is quite known for its deserts, with Mojave and the like doing their thing. And that, again, just speaks to the vast terrain of the United States that I didn't even touch on in the video that I did previously about that very thing. So yes, you have large mountains here, you have the flatlands of the Great Plains, you have swamps, something else I didn't touch on, but deserts are a key feature of the West. You don't really want to find yourself, tornadoes or otherwise, stranded in one of those without a water bottle. So basically, in America, don't mess with Mother Nature. That's the
pretty
key.
much.
I say that as somebody that's not visited any of the deserts yet here in the United States. I'd love to, and you can safely. You just have to know the rules first. Let me know in the comments below if you live in any of the United States deserts or near them, and shed some light on what that's like, because for people like me from Britain, it's an alien concept. One thing you won't find in a desert
Nevada,
is
Las Vegas.
Actually,
That's a
mine,
desert.
they're everywhere. Walmart. This is definitely not a sponsored video. One clarification here is you will find Walmart-owned stores in the United Kingdom, such as Asda. What you won't find is a supermarket with its own zip code, because they are that big here in the United States. They're huge, in fact. Now, yes, of course, Britain may have some exceptions to this rule. They might have some supersized supermarkets here and there, but America has them everywhere, specifically when we are talking about Walmart. These things are huge, and they stock absolutely everything you can think of, including car tires. You don't even have to go to the automobile shop or whatever that's called. For me, it's overwhelming. I mean, I don't like walking into stores at the best of times, just because it makes me dizzy. but Walmart especially so. So I steer clear of that place as best I can.
Oh, wow, okay.
No, we did Walmart.
Not
when
knocking
we were
anybody
there.
that does shop at Walmart, by the way. You've obviously just got more stamina than I do.
Yeah.
Sometimes
Okay.
next to Walmart and any of the
Huge.
retail outlets that you'll find in the United States, you might encounter one of these. Actually, one of these might
Neon
be
signs.
an understatement. One of the prevailing
Okay.
memories that I have of my first day in the United States, at least living here, was the blanket of neon signs everywhere. Indianapolis
Okay.
looked like Vegas by comparison. It was fun, you know. It was certainly different to anything I'd ever known. I would almost say there was a novelty value to it. Neon...
He's done a really good job on this video because he's right on everything, and neon signs is again something we do not. You have the odd one, but certainly, and maybe in different parts of the United Kingdom, you might say there's more, maybe in like London or Birmingham or whatever. But I do know, certain videos and stuff that you watch of America, that these signs are in the most rural of places.
Yes.
And certainly in where I live, there isn't. I can't think of one neon sign that sticks out in my head.
I mean, back in the day, Piccadilly
Back in the
Circus.
day, that's going to be a T-shirt that we're going to have on.
Back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Piccadilly Circus was renowned for its neon signs and things like that. I used to watch a lot of American Pickers, and they were always going out, a big, massive neon sign in good order. They seemed to be able to find them pretty much everywhere they went. Just the rarer ones, the big old Coca-Cola signs and things like that. So maybe no real reason why we didn't go down the neon sign route.
No,
to be fair,
it'd be more fun if we did.
A lot of it
gets
was sort of
dark early
painted,
in the
wasn't it?
United Kingdom,
Hand-painted,
doesn't it?
yeah.
Why is not?
Does,
I mean, it's like 4 o'clock in the it's dark already practically. So it's well, there you go.
A lot of LED ones these days with
a
open
lot of
flashing.
LED, LED's the thing,
open.
isn't it? Maybe you've just joined us for the first time, or maybe you watched us before Britpops React. Do come along and subscribe. It is free. Hit the subscribe button and you'll see a lot more videos pop up from us reacting to these sort of things. Also, you could join us on our Patreon site. Head over to BPR Patreon. The link is in the description, where you'll get a little Patreon pack when you join us at BPR, and also see some early releases and some Patreon requests. All right.
Well said.
Keep on churning.
Signs in Britain usually indicate something quite seedy, or somewhere you shouldn't take your money.
Seedy.
And so given that, it was actually quite jarring.
Okay.
Still is to this day.
Red
to
light
see
district.
The word bail bonds written in neon
Strip
lights.
club.
Initially,
Yeah,
I thought
yeah.
it was an S&M reference. So just be careful where you enter. For the most part,
Come
you'll be fine.
on,
But I assure you, you don't
you
have to have
would
any
know
concerns about entering our next place.
Okay.
Alright,
Arby's.
so after
What's
11 years of
Arby's?
living in the United States, the only reason I can see that you wouldn't like Arby's is if
What
you
is
have
it?
some weird commitment to McDonald's.
Department store.
Or if you're a
Oh.
vegetarian/vegan, then I can see
Oh,
it.
is it a burger
but
place?
Arby's is without question my favourite fast food restaurant. I don't eat it every day
Okay.
because see previous
Oh, yeah.
comment about heart disease, but I do eat it every other day. That's a lie. We don't have enough of them here in Chicago. Whenever I go back to Indiana to visit, I make sure I get Arby's. Their curly fries are amazing. Again, not a sponsored video, don't get that idea, including you Arby's. But if you're on the road and you really do have to
No
succumb to
sellout.
fast food, I think this is your best bet. Get the roast beef sandwich. No, get the double roast beef sandwich. You will not regret it. Your stomach
Double
lining
roast
might,
beef,
but you
roast
won't. The
beef.
taste is
Alright.
exquisite. I should point out, by the way, that if there are any pedants from Britain who have a fantastic memory, Arby's did have a very tiny presence in Britain in the early 2000s, but the last Arby's closed there in 2001 and it hasn't been back since.
Okay.
One thing's for sure though, Arby's and many outlets like it have the following.
Free
Anybody
refills,
that's followed
yeah.
my channel now for a while will know that I
Yeah.
have feelings on free refills. In fact, I did an entire video about it.
Well,
and while they are all
it's
the rage
true.
here, and of course you'll
Yeah.
find them in most fast
But-
food outlets.
They're
Actually,
getting
The only
Yeah.
place that I know does them, well, Pizza Hut do them, I think.
Pizza
now.
Hut do, yeah.
And TGI Fridays do
TG
free
yeah,
refills. If you are,
again-
you've got to ask though.
Yes, they won't just keep coming round.
No.
Or I think some of the places that I frequent now, you can sort of pay an extra £1 and get bottomless refills on your drinks and on your food as well. I think
Well, you got to pay
Harvesters
for a
and things
pound,
like
though.
that.
outlets
God,
and other places.
Yeah.
There is one clarification I have to make here. You will find free refills as an option in places like Subway in the United Kingdom.
Yeah.
So in some capacity, America has exported it, but it is by no means as universal in the United Kingdom as it is in the United States. And as I've said before, I think the temptation of knowing that I could get a free cup of pop on top of the one that I've already had is what made me give up pop in the first place. So I do have that to thank America for. Of course, if you are American and you have the willpower to stay away from the free refills, more power to you. Same goes for our final entry.
I mean, the free refills on the filter coffee, you know, that's all in the movies. You always see that, don't you? They're in the cafe and the woman will come around and just keep topping up the coffee.
You up.
Yeah. Or I mean, once I've had one, I'm done normally. But
Perpetual pancakes.
Perpetual pancakes, never-ending pancakes.
I was going to say, yeah.
Oh, pancakes. Pancakes are special in Britain. We absolutely have them. That's not what I'm saying here.
Tuesday.
What I am saying is we usually devote one day a year to eating them.
Yeah, that's it.
Most of us won't eat them at any other time. So when I was a kid growing up, I had a lot of fun on Pancake Day or Shrove Tuesday attempting to make pancakes with my mum.
That's true.
She did most of the work, especially after I nearly burned down the house.
Do you know what? I'm going to stop it again really quickly.
Any day of the year, just head down.
He is right. Growing up, it was always is it Pancake Day? Make the pancakes. We have pancakes. Never would you ever have them ever again. But I think as time's gone on, certainly in the last year here at home. Thanks for just subscribing there, Rinkavon. For me, we have the pancakes probably every few weeks. You know, on a Sunday morning, we'll have them for breakfast, which we don't normally do. And in the UK, I tend to make the pancakes not like the American pancakes. The American pancakes are small and thick. Whereas here we have them
more like
large,
crepes.
probably a 6. Yeah, more like crepes. Yeah, bigger pancake, which has got sugar, lemon, syrup, chocolate spread, all the things that are really not particularly
good
healthy.
for you.
But they taste great. So that's what we tend to have, or banana or blueberries or something. But yeah, we started to do that more often instead of it just being on the old pancake day. So we probably have pancakes, I don't know, 10 times a year maybe or something. We have a lot more than we would have done previously. I don't know why. Maybe it's because my daughter asks for them more, because she's influenced by what she's watching on social media, which a lot of it is American. So
Yep. And as you say, you can now sort of buy the ready-made American style pancakes from
easy, warm them up, toast them or something.
So that's an easy option as well now.
That's International House of Pancakes, and get your pancake filling right there. But you don't even have to do that. I mean, you will find pancakes on the menu at a lot of these sort of, cafes and all manner of other places. They are very, very prevalent. So when you talk about Pancake Day in America, actually, IHOP has its own sort of Pancake Day on or around Shrove Tuesday. But most people don't take it seriously. It's because every day is Pancake Day. That's it for this episode. Don't forget to let me know in the comments below how you...
Cool. That was one of Lawrence's better ones that we've watched, for sure. 10 Things America Doesn't Really... Which was pretty much nailed in most of them. Certainly, not at the... Like he said, rightly said at the beginning, not every day on some of them. But, influences are here.
What did he miss? He missed aluminum. We don't get aluminum over here.
No, I don't know what that is.
Aluminium.
Well, I'm sure there's a lot of other differences, but yeah.
No, it's just the way they say it.
Yeah, aluminum. Yeah.
Right. Yeah, there'll probably be some other bits and pieces, but like you say, most of the time we've either got influences or there's some derivative of it. But
cool.
They were pretty good ones. Yep. There you go.
Indeed. Let us know if you're from the US in the comments. If that rings true with you, is that something that you do have a lot in the US, or where you are? Or, you
mentioned spiders. You didn't mention rattlesnakes. I mean, we ain't got rattlesnakes here.
No, we don't. We haven't got crocodiles either. So you know what I mean.
We've got those ravaged robins. They fly down and peck you.
Oh yeah.
Don't keep your nuts in your pockets. That's what I say.
Them seeds. All right. Thanks for joining us at Britpop React. Do join us if you haven't already. Until tomorrow. It's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from him. Over there.
Oh, if only I had a massive wooden house. It'd be so cool.
I'd just like a massive pancake.
Oh.
He's a 20th century boy.